Hey yo. Yo, what's going on? What have you been noticing on your daily internet journeys?
Shit, man. Kind of got me looking at Conway right now, man.
The motherfucking machine.
The machine, bro. Like you trying to hang up the mic. It's wild.
Yeah, I saw you sent me that interview.
Yeah. It's crazy because you get these artists that come through every now and then and bring something special to music. And it's like they come in, they get a taste of the game, and it's like, it's not what I thought it was. And then, you know, and I mean, so many artists, particularly rappers, I don't know what it is about rappers, but they be like, I'm a retired.
Yeah, it's because it's a young man's sport. At least that's what it's been for a long time, especially since about 2010s. It's just seemed honestly, I mean, they always said it's been a young man's sport, but I've definitely noticed that it's been a young man's sport since the whole SoundCloud era, where it seemed like, because like when we were in school, you know, we didn't have social media, we didn't have that shit yet, we didn't have all these tools that kids can get famous and rich as kids just by having something that pops off or having a lot of peers that fuck with it or whatnot. But
yeah, like it's crazy though, because in some ways it's a young man's game. You know, you got the younger artists doing their thing with a lot of trap rappers, but in the other way, it's an older man's game in terms of a lot of artists make it later now.
But what I'm saying,
I feel
what I'm saying with that is that yeah, now you have, because like when we were younger, at least people I know, people I was around, we didn't really fuck with the younger artists.
Like how you mean?
Like I remember being like middle school, and like, you know, like a kid rapper or like R&B singer would be out, and everybody would say they're gay. All the boys. They were mad because, you know, they could usually get the girls. I just noticed we didn't really fuck with. Like I just remember a lot of the rappers I listened to were like a good 10 to 15 years at least older than me when I was in middle or high school. And then with the new era of kids who had social media, it seemed like you'd have XXXTentacion, and then you'd have fans that are his age. Like, diehard fans. I know he's an extreme case, he was hardcore, but there's definitely other versions.
So if what you're saying is true, which it is, then that means that the older artists that we liked, there's a possibility that they have fans the same age as them. Like Jay-Z coming out at 26, I think it was, with Reasonable Doubt.
Potentially, I know a lot of my OG homies don't fuck with people their age.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do they listen to? Like the oldies?
They listen to people in the 80s. They be like, yeah, this person's this person's that.
Yeah.
But like,
okay, so
like Rakim was the shit though. Like, I mean, even myself, I'm not really a fan of people that are my age. A fan?
Yeah, it's crazy. They say Westside is trying to retire too.
Yeah, he's been saying that for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I definitely understand being older and not being so enamored with all the things that come because you experience life. Like, so you, especially if you've had lots of money at one time, like these guys have had from what they do or what they did, you know, they know.
I mean, it seems like he's just tired.
Right.
And that's anyone can get tired.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been hustling heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Or just depressed. He's definitely prone to depression. You know what I mean? He said that in other interviews.
Yeah. A lot of artists are.
I mean, not to diminish him, not to take away.
Yeah.
I mean, he said it in multiple interviews.
He don't really be fucking with all that.
No, he just said he gets depressed, he's an alcoholic. I've heard him say this in things. But, so, I mean, this interview didn't seem too different. I remember he had that issue where it seemed like, they tried to act like they were having like a inner squad beef.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets wild, man.
Yeah, but older artists wanted to quit, and he's an older artist who's actually made bread and actually has dramatic like clout and recognition. He has an insane amount of workout on the internet, and it's you know, motherfuckers is fucking with it. Ain't just there falling on deaf ears. He's had a fucking better ride than 99.9% of artists. Like, he wants to quit now because it's complicated his existence, or that's just the place he's in at this particular interview.
You could do that.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's got big bread.
Yeah, I wonder too, because these guys are getting mentored by Jay. I'm wondering if,
as much as we think, potentially.
I mean, they're showing, from what I've seen, they're showing up at a lot of the events. You know, they're talking to him, at least in the pictures and stuff, and they've mentioned it. Like,
I mean, yeah, they could have mentioned it then, but it, you know, could have slowed down.
Benny's talked about it. You know, they're getting mentored by.
Could have slowed down.
Yeah, but even so,
it could be like mentored at a moment, and then not so much.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, you know, Jay has been through the same thing where he's like retired like twice and then come back.
The love.
Right. So, you know, is Jay telling him just cool, man. I know what you're going through. Take a break. Do what you got to do. You know, or is he just silent? He
might just keep changing his mind, or he has a tactic. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. That's true too. I mean, just the albums though. Like the last one, La Makina. I love that. Like that was good. I like I mean, there's several.
Yeah, I mean, I like their rapid fire album like releases. This shit was fucking awesome to keep up with, especially when we were trying to do our thing as like a group with other homies. Mm-hmm. It was like cool to see them actually accomplishing it.
Yeah, it
was awesome. And watching it and keeping up with it, watching on Instagram, YouTube, this shit was fucking sick. And I thought, you know, like they just had what it took to just keep mashing. But Conway's always just been dramatically blunt and honest, so this could just literally be how he felt that day.
Right.
Because knowing me, if I ever got into a place where people gave a fuck to interview, I would definitely be honest with how I felt that day. But, I mean, he's one of the GOATs. Like, dead or alive, Conway puts it down better than most rappers I've ever heard. Like, most lyricists. Like, I've seen him master other legends' flows just for half of a verse. I've seen him jump into a fast random song with the cadence perfect on a fucking trap beat, and that shit fucking blew my mind. I was like, Jesus Christ, Conway is the shit. Conway and Benny they're the best lyricists out right now. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck about whoever's, you know, got $100 million in their account or whatever the fuck that's going on. But Conway and Benny are the best lyricists that motherfuckers know about.
100,000 machine guns. That's the joint.
Yeah.
That shit, yeah.
Yeah, Royce sounds good singing on like these type of these guitars type of that hook sounded great.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. That's
Westside killed it too.
Mm-hmm.
Westside's probably one of my favorite rappers right now. Not probably, definitely is. And I don't really Westside, the baby, Lil Baby, that's probably it. Yeah. People that I've heard recently.
It'd be interesting to see some older dudes. Like, okay, so we had some older guys come back and do that traditional boom bap style with like better flows. It'd be interesting to see some older dudes do like the young boy stuff. Like, I guess Migos would be the oldest guys doing it now. But, and what, Chains?
Like the trap shit?
But like even it don't sound like Yachty or Lil Pump or it don't sound like that, or Stunner for Vegas. It don't sound like that. But
what are you talking about?
Trap. I'm saying have older guys doing like this style that the younger guys are doing. Because you got older guys.
Well, just back. These tempos and these beats right now?
And even like the quality of delivery in terms of like singing.
Oh, I wouldn't want to hear that.
You know?
I don't want to hear anybody who's not supposed to be singing.
But I mean like making it. I'm talking about like the same come up story that Griselda had, but in this genre. Like we haven't seen that. Because it's mostly just the younger guys doing it.
Like what Chains did. He was an older. Well, I mean, we saw him before, but when he came out solo and like took over to the point where even Fall Out Boy had him in a video, like he killed rock and roll. But like, yeah, he came out with a modern sound at an older age. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've not seen that in a while. Yeah, not mid-30s.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I mean, Danny Brown at 30, and he was able to kind of like shapeshift on any type of beat.
Right, he wasn't really.
Yeah, he threw him on boom bap or some weird like different type of beat I don't even really know how to describe. And then you'd see him on some trap shit, some electronic trap shit. Yeah, he was like killing everything. But yeah, that was when he was 30. Yeah, 35. 35, 36. I haven't seen that in a while. Unless it's somebody on the radio right now that I'm just not paying attention to, or underground, because I rarely pay attention to underground artists these days.
It's almost like if you come out at that age, like 35, you gotta either be like a really amazing singer, or a producer, but like as an artist that's doing young boy trap rap.
Yeah, virality has to be a part of the equation in a big way. It can't be a steady grind.
Right.
It has to be like you do something, a few things dramatically noticeable to just all of a sudden be out there.
All right, for all you 35, 36-year-old trap rappers with a dream.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure at that age, for most people, it stops becoming a dream. Because reality won't let you sleep long enough to dream.
Ugh.
But
speak on it.
But yeah, man, like you at that age, you gotta go viral. It ain't no more slow grind. What are you doing it for?
You gotta get in touch with somebody to put you on. Yeah,
and getting put on at that age is dramatically difficult unless you were almost or put on younger and something bad happened and you have those old connects.
Right. Because
new people ain't gonna fuck with you. They want the new shit. Mm-hmm. Some new young motherfucker. So, like you said, unless they sing or make beats, unless they're like some type of amazing singer, like some like AWOL Nation, where he was producing himself, singing, doing the whole thing.
Singer-songwriters can make it later for sure.
Yeah, rap is the only genre, and only rap is the only one, hip hop rap, where you have to either come in somewhere around youth to about 25 to 28. That's pushing it.
Or just have like
either that, or you have to go fucking viral. You have to either be stupid or well put together shit. What's up?
Or extremely well crafted coke raps. If you got that, you can come in at 35.
Yeah, and even then, you gotta be zeitgeist still. Like how many mixtapes did OT Genius put up, and how many albums does Conway have out? And they both do coke rap. Like Conway could have put out 1,000 songs, but OT Genius put out "I'm in Love with the Coco," and then
OT Genesis.
My bad. Whoopsies.
Well, nah, that's cool. He'd probably be happy you call him a genius.
He's a proper genius.
OT Genius.
And then that shit just goes crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah. So it's like you talk about virality.
Yeah. Ben's cultures. What's up?
It's in the beats too.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like none of Griselda's music has gone viral in the sense that like it's the hit of the summer.
No,
nothing they've ever done has done that. But they make dope music. It's cool for their fan base.
Yeah, like I'm in their fan base.
Yeah.
Like you let me hear some shit, was it 2 years ago? Where Conway and Westside were going back and forth on this slow beat.
Yeah.
And that shit was like, I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I was like, this is the dopest shit I've heard in a long time. Because all I was probably listening to was Atlanta shit. So I wasn't hearing these back and forths and crazy bars. I was just hearing a vibe. What's up?
We grew up on that good rap though, like the Jada Kisses.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, if you're smart in a sense, or just have friends, who enjoy that shit. But like, you're gonna definitely have to like math rap, if in a sense what I call it, like just a smarter rap.
Mm-hmm.
It's
witty.
Yeah, it's witty. Anybody can do the easy shit. Soulja Boy came out and did easy shit, became a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Not every you can't just wake up and do a Conway song, like, you know what I mean? You can't just, just luckily become famous.
That's something you've been crafting.
That's something, that's insane. Conway's one of the wittiest rappers out. He probably is the wittiest rapper out right now.
Yeah, especially to come along.
Him and then Benny.
Let's see, you got Kiss. After Kiss, like I don't think there's been as witty a rapper. I think Conway's the last witty rapper to come since like
that era.
Yeah,
since the Kisses. Kiss.
Because like I wouldn't even consider like Kendrick witty or Cole witty or Big Sean.
I wouldn't consider
Big Sean's witty.
I would say Big Sean. Kendrick he's just like this.
It's
a whole different thing.
It's this thing though. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like this big whole different combination of things Kendrick's bringing forward.
Yeah,
it's like the smart guy, but he's hood, and
knows the lingo.
He knows the lingo. He's able to sit in his pocket and do his own thing and get the biggest budgets and be prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
He has Dre. So a lot of things are going on with Kendrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wittiness though, that cleverness. You haven't seen that really since, and a lot of guys haven't.
Danny was clever.
Yeah, he's in there. He's a very entertaining artist, lyrically and like sonically, his vocals.
Yeah. And definitely visually back in the day. He went for the fucking gut, like for the jugular. Like he was like, I'm nigga, you gonna fucking notice this shit. Fucking.
Yo, yeah, dug in the crates, man. Back some of his early stuff. You put me on, cause you put me on Danny.
Yeah.
Like you put me on Danny. Then, that Triple X. That was like my first.
Yeah.
And then I went back recently because you put me on some new stuff he did, and like he's always just, I could tell he's definitely always had that. I got this thing on my chest. I just gotta get it off. So when you tell me like he just goes in the studio and records his damn near the entire album in one session or multiple songs in one session, it's like I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, but guy, and that, maybe that's the difference too, because like if you really take it seriously, I feel like you. No, I can't even say that. I was gonna say if you take it seriously, you'll figure out a way.
Like if you took Danny Brown's second album, mainstream album,
mm-hmm.
if you call that mainstream, as we know of him, you know, Danny Brown after Triple X, the Old. If you took
mm-hmm.
Old and multiplied it by 4, he'd be top 5 of this era.
You mean in terms of sales, or
no? Just if you put out 4 more albums in the thought of that, just sitting parallel parking on the zeitgeist,
mm-hmm.
you put out 4 more overtly. I mean, they weren't overtly, but they were enough to throw him in the zeitgeist. They were paying attention to the times a little bit more than some of his other ones that are classics as well. He's my favorite rapper, since he's the only rapper I can actually say that about, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Besides like Future or something, someone who does something completely different, but or Chains. But yeah, he fucking, if that album, that Old album, like it was just so fucking zeitgeist. Like Jesus Christ, if he put out like 4 more of those that were like literally staying with the times, you know, not just recreating that.
It makes you wonder though, because like he's put out a bunch of music, right? And I feel like artists do that, and then they get to a point where it's like, you know, back to
you do what you want,
right? And you
gotta like, you're on already. Do what you want.
It's crazy.
Do what you want,
because it makes you wonder how much of it is the art, and then how much of it was like financial. Like once you got to a place,
it's like a choice you gotta make with yourself. Am I gonna try to force what I love to do 100% on the public and potentially get a niche fan base if you hustle hard? Or am I going to dabble with the times and still do what I want to do and take that route and
keep a little more relevance?
Yeah, a little bit more relevance. You don't have to make your whole shit that. I mean, if you did, it would probably even be cooler. Sadly,
I mean, yeah, because
like one style on the album always sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Big Scar. Yeah, man. Like I feel like it's interesting to see when an artist feels like they're at the end of their time, because you know, from a fan perspective, you're like, nigga, you still breathing, you know. But then from their perspective, it's like, from an artist perspective, it's like, you know,
I'm living life, cuz like, yo, like,
yeah, like y'all already, you vibing on my shit already.
I mean, I feel Conway. He put out a lot, yo. He put out a lot in an era that doesn't completely fuck with it in that manner.
Yeah, and too, you think about the way music comes out now. So you had back in the day, like people would drop a single, or maybe like a 3-song kind of set on a like record player, or 7 songs or whatever.
2 songs, tape.
2 songs, you know, and you play. When that song ends, you repeat it and play it back. Yeah,
you program yourself. You. It's music, you know. These are famous people making music. Let's listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, Not everyone has the tools to do so. Not everyone even thinks they can do so.
Then you move forward to like the 70s, you know,
and that goes even through the 90s.
Yeah, you start bringing out CDs. You know, the classical orchestras are getting the CDs for the first time, and now people are starting to record more music, and it's now easily distributable. So now people expect a little more. So the artist comes out with like an album in a year. Now, so instead of 2-3 songs, they may do 2 albums. Now you're getting like, and then they're doing larger quantities.
2 or 3 songs. Okay, you're talking. Well, never mind.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying like to go from an era where you only did, where the artist released fewer songs. You go in their studio, record 1 song, 2 songs.
Oh, back in the day?
Yeah, all the way to now where it's
I mean, you mean like demos and stuff, right?
Yeah,
you're not talking about like people actually putting out albums.
I mean, the album back in like,
because I think like the Beatles created the first long album.
Right.
But that's still the 60s.
Okay, I think it's the 70s for CDs, like when CDs start coming.
CDs come out in the 70s?
I think the first, from my understanding, classical orchestras were the first to start doing, and I get this from a Chicago Symphony story I think I read.
But even then it was more than 3 songs. But yeah, I'm just trying to...
Yeah, I'm just saying, okay, so the average record, like LP.
Like what the first Beatles record had like.
I'm talking about before that.
10, 11, maybe less than that. 12, less than 12, or 12 or less than 12.
I'm talking about like the 40s, right? Like I'm going back like all the way. I'm drawing a point to say that the Conway has basically done what it would have taken an artist back in the day 15 years to do.
Yeah, my back in the day doesn't reach that far because I did not like that old of music.
Ah, that's the good stuff, man.
For you,
yeah. The orchestras, man.
Well, I'm not even thinking about orchestra. I'm thinking about pop music. I think about pop music, orchestra, like people that are like back like Mozart. People back in the day, I don't even include them.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going that far back.
I mean, you went further back than I would have, but like, I'm just saying I wouldn't even, any of those. I start at like pop music from the Beatles era because that's probably where it starts that I like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All of that shit's based on old stuff though.
That is, I'm just talking about that's the era. The Beatles started a whole different thing. I've listened to old shit and I just don't fuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for their influences that much. Keyword that much. There's probably some stuff I would like, but who cares? My care starts with probably the second Beatles album.
Mm. Yeah, I think he did what they did in 2-3 years. The Beatles took their entire career to make.
Fourth Beatles album. Oh, that's just the fact that he could just come in the studio and just rip a track real quick.
Right. I think because of that plays into his reasoning where he feels like he can retire because he's like done it because like the era requires that you do this. You have this mass production now because everybody has access. But back then it was like you were controlled by the record label. You couldn't drop when you wanted to. So he took his career into his own hands, progressed it, sped it up, fast forwarded, and now it's like the well has run dry in a sense. But like you said earlier,
the inspiration or the momentary inspiration,
right? Like that's what you were saying earlier. Like he could just get it back, which happens. Sometimes you take a break for a month, don't write nothing, don't spit nothing, don't do nothing. And you hear something, and it just kicks back.
Yeah, like, I haven't written anything in 6 months. And that's strange. I used to write. That's like I wrote consistently for probably 12 years before that, and then finally hit a point where it was like, it isn't gonna happen. I gotta switch up the style. I gotta figure out a new thing. I got my first real writer's block, where it was like, I don't know what to fucking say in a song anymore. My real thoughts are dramatically too negative for me to want to put out. Because it's just, I'm either gonna fake it or I'm gonna tell my real thoughts, or I can do both. But it still put me in a writer's block that made me think like, all right, just focus on producing because you're on your fucking own, and are you willing to fucking try to be like a 21-year-old?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're trying to be like Billie Eilish, but like you're different experiences. Like her writing it has this kind of sweet morbidity to it, But then again,
it's like childish morbidity.
Yeah. It's like this kind of innocent morbidity. It's like
kind of kid edgelordish kind of thing. Kind of what a less dramatic childhood of what some of these emo rappers got going on.
Yeah. It's like that's one way to express depression and pain and suffering.
Or just not even all that, just nihilism. But yeah, you're talking about them.
Yeah. That plays into it on some part, huh? Depression.
I think a lot of them give a fuck. I think a lot of them give a fuck more. I don't think they're that nihilistic. Yeah, I don't think that. Nah.
You think kids today are softer than they've been in the past?
They're maybe the ones with opinions. They've just haven't
lived enough.
They have too much information, they have too much of a voice. We hear everything they say because of social media, they're not separated from us. So back in the day, and they're not as social. Like there's like that incel movement, like not movement, but like phenomenon, like there's a lot of kids who are almost 30 who have not even put their penis in a vagina. A lot of them. In a world where you can just buy a prostitute if it's that difficult. If it's not some moral reason or just some like not nihilistic, but like apathetic, you just don't care. You're trying to you just don't have the time. And it's just like you're just not at all like in a world where you can literally, there's more prostitutes now than ever. Because, of course, post-COVID, internet, more people on Earth. yeah. But Jesus Christ,
Wait,
there's people there's girls that would pay you to smash them on OnlyFans.
So you're saying there's COVID causes there to be more prostitutes?
Definitely, COVID definitely multiplied the prostitutes by a certain number.
How so? Yes, I like that. How like?
And it just first it did multiple things because more people are becoming prostitutes. I put everything sex work under prostitute. That means OnlyFans, porn, mainstream porn, selling your body on the streets, being a call girl or call guy if that's your thing. I put all that under prostitute because you're just selling sex. So anything selling sex. Stripping, a lot of that is prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah. It's like the easiest one. That's the nicest one. Stripping is the best prostitution form. Stripping, the fact that so many people are actually like just holding out or like doing the OnlyFans thing, it made stripping like a kind of like a vanilla career. It's like you just stripping. Who cares about that? Yeah, who cares? Like you dance, get a lot more money than other jobs.
Yeah, guys aren't coming inside of you
or even entering you unless you're doing the whole backroom thing.
Yeah,
but
I mean, any exciting woman there's a chance that she's probably dancing on a pole and like for her boyfriend or husband. So dancing and taking your clothes off isn't something that
like nudity is different than like fucking.
Yeah, exactly. And some people say, well, doing it in front of a room full of men. I was like, are these men touching? Or are they just watching? Because
even touching, as long as you're not like fucking, because most strip clubs you can touch the titties.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say most.
Some.
A lot of them I went to. They would put they would take their hands and put them under tits. Yeah, they would keep tipping.
Mm-hmm.
Or like become like a fake boyfriend where you're like constantly coming in or paying for shit outside of the place and just get smashing them. They set those things up. Every time I came to the club, the girls giving me a phone numbers and they text you, or sometimes they text you, or I text them, or sometimes they text you. But
man. I don't know. I feel like it's so strange though. Like I haven't heard Benny once out of the three talk about retiring. He's just making.
There's no need for him to. He's winning heavy. Like he's the golden child of the clique in a different way. Because Westside is also, and it's different. And I thought it was gonna be like Westside was the nigga who's like kind of like the, for lack of a better words, like a Diddy of the group.
Yeah, I figured you was gonna say Diddy. Yeah. I mean, kind of is that. It's so funny in the beginning when the first time I seen Westside and all of them, he seemed like the young, immature one that was just kind of loud. But like, I didn't expect him to have the kind of
genius and like
it's just cool to see how their personalities have all played out and how they've handled.
Yeah, and I thought Benny was gonna be the Jay-Z, and I thought Conway was gonna be like the Benny.
The Biggie.
I mean, not Benny, but
Biggie,
Benny Siegel. Benny Siegel.
Oh, I kind of saw him like he would be the Biggie, Jay-Z would be, and Benny would be like the Jay. Like in terms of like ability, but you can't have two.
I mean, yeah, ability. Beanie's fire.
Yeah. But like, you feel like Beanie Siegel and Jay have sounded the best together on tracks?
I have to listen to him again.
I feel like Memphis and Jay sound good. Who sounds good with Jay?
You're talking about sounding good, like as a whole different thing. But like,
well, if Benny's the Jay-Z, and you're comparing Conway to Beanie Siegel, Beanie Siegel's not good.
I mean, like Biggie is a whole different thing. Biggie is like Biggie is pre Jay-Z, but also with Jay-Z.
Right.
But like, so I mean, it's like it's in an era where hip hop was still more like in its heavy metal stage, to where skill was a lot more on the forefront. And the people with skill would produce pop songs still, to an extent. Even if they didn't, hip-hop was still lyrical back then.
So you feel like Beanie Siegel has produced more pop? What does he have?
I'm not saying he has. I'm just saying Biggie was.
Right, true.
And then Jay-Z, like, fucking mastered it to the point where Beanie just had to kind of just be a ill-ass rapper. And the ill-ass rapper is kind of like the vein that Conway comes from. More so than the Jay-Z.
So you're saying just Benny's rise kind of... but Benny hasn't made like pop music like that.
There's a lot going on with Benny, man. There's a difference.
Sure.
Image.
Sure, but it's not the music. It
is the music.
Yeah, it depends. See, they both make good music. It just depends on
what you like at the time. What does good mean?
we listen to both of them.
Good doesn't mean anything. The Island Boys are famous right now. You think that you don't even know who they are, but good doesn't mean shit to the music industry.
Okay, we're talking about something different now.
You said good, and I was just like, what does it mean?
Yeah, I was getting to the point. My point was, both Benny and Conway make good music. So the fact that I do agree that there are other factors that come into play for why Benny is more popular, because they're both great artists and they sound great together, and they got good solo work. So there are other factors.
What are the factors?
You said image. I like that. That's
beyond image.
Definitely.
What else you think would make Benny be like the golden child of the group?
I think there is something to this. I haven't heard anybody mention this either, because they both have crazy flows. But kind of like how we were talking about Spark, when you come from a different place, like I think Benny comes from a deeper place in his chest or in his body, and Conway does, because Conway could kind of be like, he sounds best when his tone of voice is deeper. But a lot of times Conway kind of has like that. No. It's kind of like this
Young Thug.
Yeah, it's not bad. Obviously, it's not bad. I'm just saying, like, and then you got Benny, and so it depends on what you like. You know, Benny's kind of comes from like
I said, Young Thug, and you said it depends on what you like.
Right.
Young Thug. Yeah, you could constantly talk about rappers who come from like the nasal or from like the chest voice rather than the diaphragm, if they're even doing that, or if they're just grew up talking like this. That was Alpha. That was the niggas that they were around when they grew up, and they ended up talking like this. Because you could definitely live somewhere else and talk like this. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I don't know. That is a thought, though. But like I said, Young Thug, he's like the biggest rapper of his era. Besides, one of the Migos? Or them as a group? And Young Thug, do you know how he raps?
So, I mean, yeah. So it's just like,
and look how your brother raps.
Opinion. Yeah.
He chose to rap in a high-pitched singy voice type of thing. You know, the way a lot of Atlanta rap, low key. That's a vibe.
So then what is it? You think it's just the image? Benny's image is bigger than Conway's image?
Maybe that's what it is. That might be what it is. I mean, Benny got slappers, but I love probably equal amount of music from both of them.
Right, that's what I meant when I said they both have good music.
I mean, I just like it. It is good. It just happens to be good.
Yeah.
Because I like trash too. I've liked some shitty ass little Atlanta songs from back in the day that used to be on the radio. Like little songs that nobody else would know about.
Yeah, but you don't like them now.
I'd probably still play them.
Okay. Yeah, because that's another mark, I guess, is just we stand the test of time.
It's nostalgia.
I could go back to any of Conway or any of Benny's music.
I know there's definitely a proper amount of Conway and West Side songs that I would play. I don't play them right now. I probably overdid it back then, but there was at least good 10 songs that I would play from both of them, and maybe a few from Benny.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Go ahead. I just had an idea.
What up?
Beats. Benny's had Hit Boy he did a whole album with Hit Boy and then Harry Fraud. Two producers that have distinct styles. And I think when I was looking up who did Conway's tracks on his, was it King to a God? Two producers that have distinct styles. And the La Makina, he has some dope beats on there. And yeah, from King to a God. Like, Conway has sounded the best to me on Derringer and Alchemist beats. So, but I don't think he's had like a top industry producer to like do his whole album, because that would probably be a different Conway.
So it would just reach more people.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, it's not like Benny is doing like pop numbers. Like he's doing phenomenal numbers, but they're not pop numbers. So, but he's doing better numbers than Conway is doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's because the producer.
Yeah.
Hit Boy, and Hit Boy's on fire right now.
Yeah.
That was probably
Jesus Christ.
And then he fucking had Rick Ross on his tracks, and Benny did, and he had your boy what's his name?
I mean, hell, man, I've walked in places and people liked me the least. I've had a group of friends. I was three of us.
Freddie Gibbs.
And then I leave one room and come out the other, and hear some people be like, "We fuck with you and you, but your homie right there, I don't know." And then I just catch him in that statement and be like, "Oh, me." I don't know.
People like who they like.
They like who they like. I mean, you could definitely force it. You can program people anything. There's definitely been artists that have been programmed for us to like. We just accepted it at some point.
Yeah.
But they're not working with program money. I mean, they probably are working with program money, but
just started using it.
Maybe just like not using a shit ton of it on all the marketing and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I know that they're definitely rich. Shit. And I like all three of them. I think they're the best group of dudes to come out for, like, you know, since Migos.
It's crazy though, man. Like, Nas, I think he said this in one of his songs, is like the way artists used to come out. Like, these were generational artists, you know, like Biggie, Nas, Tupac, these people. And I don't know if it's more than that because they died, but Jay-Z's still alive, and he's a multi-spanning generational artist. But artists now don't really have that weight anymore, and I don't know if it's because of how fast we get information now, but they don't have that weight where like you. And maybe it's because I'm older, because who knows how a 17-year-old kid is taking in Griselda. Griselda might be like how I was looking at Jadakiss or Styles P or, you know.
I still think it's different. 17?
When I was 17, yeah, that's what I was listening to. I remember Jeezy 2 being 18.
Jeezy makes more sense. Yeah, because music's been trapped for a while. And I'm thinking about regular 17-year-old, not like you who's like listening to like super underground hip hop on the radio and shit. And that you're the only person I knew who was doing that.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. If I could get if they put out an album, I was getting. I didn't really care if they were.
Oh yeah,
if I heard them on the radio or whatever.
I bought albums just because I was a music fan.
Right. You know,
I would buy, like, I had a homie who would just steal albums.
Yeah, I know exactly what you do.
Yeah, and give me like just like it's still a bunch of them. Like, just give me like $5. Yeah, if it was still a shit ton of albums, I was just record store he was working at.
Those were days, man.
Then I would get all the albums and go back and listen to them all, either on like Discman or MP3 player. It was not MP3, but you know, computer or whatever the fuck. Radio. And yeah, I got put on a lot of shit. I remember getting the Ghostface album random, and I never listened to Wu-Tang, and I was like, this shit is amazing.
Yeah.
But I have an open mind for music. Mm-hmm. And that type of music was transitioning into it being like a southern dominated style of like hip hop for at least the mainstream. And like what other genres would copy. I gotta use the restroom real quick. You wanna keep talking or you want me to stop it?
Shit, we can stop it.
Alright, well alright.
Yeah. Alright, well shoot. I definitely hope you know, Conway works it out. And, you know, because he's a GOAT. It'd be dope to hear from him.
I think we will.
In the future. Yeah, me too.